Hello, and welcome to the webinar presentation on the Affordable Care Act, understanding the implications for your clients and your sales. My name is Ron Williams, the Marketing Director for Promotional Products Group, which consists of three distinct brands, Filine, MyLine, and Reflectix product lines. And over the next 15 minutes, you're going to obtain a common sense understanding and application of the Affordable Care Act. Before we begin, I wanted to make sure that all of you know that while this presentation is going on, you can ask any question via the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen that you can see the arrow pointing to. I promise I'll answer the questions presented to me during the presentations. With that being said, I want to share with you my background, my experiences, so on and so forth, and why I'm really even talking to you about this subject today. To start off with, I was a healthcare provider for over 20 years, and during those 20 years, I developed a multidiscipline sports medicine clinic. Multidiscipline refers to the fact that I had other MDs, DOs, DCs, PTs, and massage therapists all under one roof. I built the practice from scratch, and when I walked away from it, we were seeing over 100 patients per day. Now, after hearing me say that, you possibly might be thinking, Ron, how in the world can you walk away from that? I'll tell you exactly why. I retired from the practice of medicine when HMOs, better known as health maintenance organizations, started to pop up because even back then, I saw the proverbial handwriting on the wall regarding the way the healthcare system in the United States was changing within our nation. Funny thing, almost half of the physicians that I've graduated with have also retired from the practice of medicine as well because of this very same issue. Now, I came into the promo industry really by accident because at the same time of my practice, I developed an internet marketing company which assisted Fortune 100 companies with marketing their products and expanding their market share via the internet. Long story short, I've been in the promotions industry for right about 10 years, and honestly, I absolutely love it. So given that background information about myself concerning this subject, I believe I'm very uniquely qualified to speak with authority on it. Before I say anything else and really start to delve into the Affordable Care Act, I want to stress something. The presentation that you're going to hear is not in any way, shape, or form a political statement of any kind and should not be interpreted that way. It's my goal today to show you and to teach you why the Affordable Care Act came about, how this Affordable Care Act is impacting your clients right now and their buying decisions, and what is the one thing that you need to do as a promotional products professional to position yourself for incredible sales over the next 5, 10, perhaps even 20 years. If you're happy selling $100,000 to $200,000 per year, then this presentation might not be the right place for you. But if you want to double, perhaps triple your sales, then you're going to love what we're going to be talking about today. Now that I've gone over that, do you happen to know the 9 most terrifying words ever? They are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Now, that's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's a true statement. Another true statement is, believe it or not, the path or the genesis of the Affordable Care Act began on August 14th, 1935. It was on that day that President FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, signed the Social Security Act. At that time, it was the most sweeping shift in American social policy. The entire legislation contained approximately 15,283 words. The second shift in American social policy took place on March 23rd, 2010. That was the day that President Obama signed into law the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. This new law contained 379,869 words. And of course, following the signing of that law, everyone started to go nuts about this thing. Democrats were proud that they were providing health coverage for people, while Republicans were mad that the government was mandating individuals must buy coverage. There were lawsuits left and right, some of which eventually made it to the Supreme Court. Now, this ladies and gentlemen, is where it gets interesting. Chief Justice John Roberts, in his decision, writing, the statement, the findings from the Supreme Court on a case of the National Federation of Independent Businesses versus the Department of Health and Human Services, stated that it is not our job, meaning the Supreme Court, to protect the citizens from the consequences of their political choices. Now, that, listeners, is a very telling statement. So let's fast forward from that point to June of 2015. A recent case just last year was brought to the Supreme Court in March, which was ruled on in June. This case dealt with a statement that is part of the Affordable Care Act law. It states that health insurance tax credit subsidies are available for individuals who go through a health insurance exchange that was set up by a state government. Seems pretty clear, doesn't it? It's very easy to understand. Let's take a look real briefly at these state exchanges that this part of the law is talking about. According to the way the law was written and passed, if you purchased health insurance coverage through your state exchange, you were eligible for a subsidy if you live in one of the 16 purple states on this map that you can see right now. The problem was that everyone who registered was receiving tax subsidies in all 50 states, which is exactly opposite of what the original law stated. Now, it's easy to understand then why this particular case was brought to the Supreme Court. As you look at this page, look at the top chart. You can see the number of individuals signing up for coverage has steadily increased. You can also see from the pie chart on the bottom left that 65% of those individuals are 35 years of age or older. The chart on the right demonstrates that all of the people in the left-hand pie chart, 85% of them qualified for financial assistance. If you're single and you make $47,000 or less, you're entitled to financial assistance to help you pay for your insurance coverage. If you happen to be a family of 4 and you make $97,000 or less, you're also entitled for assistance to help pay for this insurance program. So now that you know that, let's go back to the June 2015 Supreme Court decision. In a 6-3 vote, the Supreme Court upheld the legality of the insurance subsidies regardless of which exchange, either state or federal, that the citizen, the person, purchased insurance through. Now, this is exactly opposite of what the actual law passed clearly states. Once again, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the decision and stated that Congress passed the Affordable Care Act to improve health insurance markets, not to destroy them. He went on further to state that if at all possible, we must interpret the Affordable Care Act in a way that is consistent with the former and avoids the latter. So, what does that mean for us? What does that mean for you, for your clients, and for your business? It means, friends, the Affordable Care Act, while subject to slight modifications, will not be repealed. I repeat, it will not be repealed. The Affordable Care Act is here to stay, regardless of what your client hears and believes from a politician's mouth. So now that you know the Affordable Care Act is here to stay, you're probably thinking, okay, Ron, that's all good, but how is this impacting my business? How is this really dictating my clients' buying decisions from me? That is the question all of us need to understand, and I'll tell you exactly how. It's all about cost, and it's all about who is paying this insurance bill. In March of 2010, the Congressional Budget Office estimated that in order to make the Affordable Care Act affordable, that it would cost $898 billion. 4 years later, because of all the changes, the iterations, the exceptions granted, etc., the estimated cost rose to $2 trillion. So I ask you, who is going to pony up and pay this money? The individual citizens? No, it's all happening through new and subsequent business taxes that your clients are getting hit with as iterations of the Affordable Care Act roll out, and they need to plug this financial hole. And your client is the one who is going to be paying the bill. So bringing this back to you and your business, there are clearly 3 reasons why your clients will change, not might, but will change their spending habits with you. Those 3 things are additional business taxation, higher healthcare costs, sometimes exceeding 40% a year, 40% per year, and increased regulation compliance costs that sometimes requires your clients to actually hire additional employees just to deal with the regulations. While we really can't do anything about additional business taxes and regulation compliance costs, because your client is suffering from sometimes a 40% or more yearly increase in their health care cost for employee coverage, this is the area of your golden opportunity. It's called corporate health and wellness. And the reason it's your opportunity is because in order to keep their insurance costs as low as possible, companies large and small are being strong-armed by their insurance carriers to develop, incorporate, and adopt company wellness initiatives. And this, friends, is where you step into the picture. Because based upon my estimations, there exists a bucket of available sales that eclipses $445 million per year. That's nearly 10% of all promotional product sales. Today, you've learned quite a few important things pertaining to your clients and their business and your business. Number 1, the Affordable Care Act has been the most sweeping change in U.S. social policy in our nation's history. Number 2, that the United States Supreme Court has upheld the legality of the questionable application of the Affordable Care Act, even though the application is contrary clearly to what the law states. Number 3, 85% of individuals who have registered for health insurance plans through state insurance exchanges and or healthcare.gov receive some form of financial assistance to pay part or all of their health insurance expense. Number 4, current costs to keep the Affordable Care Act running were severely underestimated by $1.2 trillion. Number 5, this underestimation of $1.2 trillion will be covered by new business taxes which roll out every year. Number 6, that there are 3 reasons why your clients will change their spending and buying habits with you. And lastly, number 7, potentially one of the greatest opportunities ever to exist in the promotional products industry is staring at you right now. And it's called corporate health and wellness, which is estimated at over $445 million. I encourage you to attend the additional webinars that 5 Promotional Products Group provides, which further teaches you how to understand this and other markets as well, how to understand your clients' pain points, and how to sell more than you ever have with these new opportunities. You can listen to topics such as how understanding and educating your clients on consumer trends can double, perhaps even triple, their marketing ROI. You can listen to how the top 10 health products are your path to profits as a distributor salesperson, and how moving your clients into health-related promotional items is actually really easy. We also have available the ins and the outs of corporate health and wellness programs and how to become the subject matter expert, as well as the 1, 2, 3 of corporate wellness program development, a turnkey system for distributors. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation today, and I hope you recommend it to others. I always like to hear feedback from listeners, so please feel free to email me at ronw@myline.com with comments, suggestions, or if you have projects that any of our sales team can assist you with. You know, it's our job at 5 Promotional Products Group to really become a valued partner with you and to make it as easy as possible to do business with us. Once again, My name is Ron Williams, and I hope to hear from you soon.